हेलो फ्रेंड्स। आज की इस वीडियो में हम लोग सॉल्व करने वाले हैं मार्जिनल कॉस्टिंग के बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट इलस्ट्रेशन, दैट इज इलस्ट्रेशन नंबर 2। राइट, ये आपके इंस्टीट्यूट मटेरियल के अंदर 322 पेज के अंदर है, पेज नंबर 322, पेज नंबर 322। राइट, दिस टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चंस यूजुअली आस्क्ड इन ऑफलाइन एग्जामिनेशंस, और आपका भी ऐसे भी दिसंबर 22 टर्म ऑफलाइन होने वाला है। सो दिस टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चन इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एंड स्पेशली फॉर ऑफलाइन एग्जामिनेशंस। सो लेट्स गेट स्टार्टेड without wasting any further time. So the question is, two businesses AB Limited and CD Limited sell the same type of product in the same market. Their budgeted profit and loss accounts for the year ending 30th June 2016 are as follows. Sales given both AB Limited and CD Limited, that is 1,50,000, and similarly variable cost given 1,20,000 for AB Limited and 1 lakh for CD Limited, right? And fixed cost also given 15,000 for AB Limited and 35,000 for CD Limited, right? And also profit given, profit for AB Limited 15,000, similarly 15,000 for CD Limited. Now you are required to calculate the break-even point of each business and state which business is likely to earn greater profit in conditions. What are the conditions? Such as when there is heavy demand for the product and when there is low demand for the product. Right? This is the questions. So let me explain about the meaning of break-even point. So sir, break-even point क्या होता है? See, when someone asks a layman about his business, he may reply that it is all right, means it is okay. But a technical man may reply that it is break even, means the volume of production or sales where there is no profit or loss. There is no profit or loss, or you can say in simple language, the cost is equal to revenue. जितना भी कॉस्ट हो रहा है वो रेवेन्यू के साथ मैच कर रहा है, इसे हम लोग कहते हैं ब्रेक इवन पॉइंट। मीन्स ब्रेक इवन पॉइंट इज इक्वल टू नो प्रॉफिट एंड नो लॉस, बट टू कवर ऑल कॉस्ट। No profit and no loss, but to cover all losses or all cost, right? So break even point क्या है ना? break even point is a financial calculation for obtaining the number of product or services a company should sell or provide to cover its cost, particularly fixed cost, right? If you can say, if profit volume ratio decreased, then break even sales also decreased. Similarly, if profit volume ratio increased, then break even sales also increased, right? So there is a greater interconnections between contribution, profit volume ratio and fixed cost. Contribution, profit volume ratio and fixed cost, right? And what is the formula of break-even sales? As you know that the break-even point formula is when there is value given in that point, break-even point will be fixed cost divided by profit volume ratio. When value given, right? When quantity given instead of value, where quantity given, in that sense break-even point will be fixed cost divided by contribution per unit. If quantity given given, then break even point will be fixed cost divided by contribution per unit, and when value given, then break even point will be fixed cost divided by profit volume ratio, right? So as we know that break even point means when there is no profit and no loss, no profit and no loss. So let's solve these questions. Statement showing computation of profit volume ratio, break even point and determination of profitability in different conditions, right? So here AB लिमिटेड CD लिमिटेड का सेल्स दिया गया है 1,50,000 गिवन इन क्वेश्चंस, राइट? वेरिएबल कॉस्ट भी गिवन इन क्वेश्चंस 1,20,000 and 1 lakh for CD limited, right? So contribution, as we know, sales minus variable cost is equal to contributions, right? So हमारा contribution आ गया for AB limited 30,000 and for CD limited 50,000. Similarly, now we have to calculate profit volume ratio. So profit volume ratio का formula क्या है? As we know that contribution divided by sales into 100 is equal to profit volume ratio. हम लोगों को पता है पीवी रेशियो का फॉर्मूला, दैट इज कंट्रीब्यूशन बाय सेल्स इनटू 100, राइट? सो कंट्रीब्यूशन एबी लिमिटेड का कितना था 30,000 डिवाइडेड बाय सेल्स 1,50,000 इंटू 100 इज इक्वल टू 20% पीवी रेशियो फॉर एबी लिमिटेड. एंड सिमिलरली फॉर सीडी लिमिटेड कंट्रीब्यूशन था 50,000, सेल्स था 1,50,000. सो 50,000 divided by 1,50,000 into 100 is equal to 33.13% for CD limited, right? Now fixed cost also given in questions, both 15,000 for AB limited and 35,000 for CD limited, right? And also profit given 50,000 for AB limited and 15,000 for CD limited, right? So now we can easily calculate break even sales. As we know that break even sales का formula क्या है? Now fixed cost divided by profit volume ratio, right? So fixed cost given for AB limited 15,000 and for CD limited 35,000, right? So break even point for AB limited कितना होगा ना? फिक्स कॉस्ट कितना था 15,000 डिवाइडेड बाई पीबी रेशियो कितना था 20%, ये हो गया 75,000 फॉर AB लिमिटेड. सिमिलरली फॉर CD लिमिटेड कितना होगा ना? फिक्स कॉस्ट कितना था 35,000 डिवाइडेड बाई आपका पीबी रेशियो कितना था 33.13% डिवाइडेड बाई 33.33% इज इक्वल टू 1,05,000, right? 1,05,000. So now we obtain that from the above computation it was found that the product produced by CD limited is more profitable in conditions of heavy demand. वो इसलिए because its profit volume ratio is higher. Here profit volume ratio is 33.13% as compared to AB limited, because AB limited profit ratio is 20%. At that time CD limited profit volume ratio is 33.13%. So it was found that the product produced by CD limited is more profitable in conditions of heavy demand because its profit volume ratio is higher. On the other hand, in the condition of low demand, the product produced by AB limited is more profitable because its break-even point is low, right? So as we already discussed if profit volume ratio is increased, then break-even sales also increase, and also conditions of heavy demand also increased, right? So agar if profit volume ratio will be decreased, then break even sales also decreased, right? And we know that formula of break even sales, when there is value given in questions, then break even point formula will be fixed cost divided by profit volume ratio, and when quantity given instead of value, then the formula for break even sales will be fixed cost divided by contribution per unit. And we know the formula for contribution will be sales minus variable cost. Sales minus variable cost. So this is it all about illustration number 2. You just need to understand the concept of break even sales, break even point, break even chart, and the various ingredients or components which are attached in break even point. Like, you just need to understand what is fixed cost, what is profit volume ratio, what is contributions, how to calculate for PV ratio, how to calculate fixed cost, right? So these things are need to be understood very deeply in order to calculate break even point. So when this type of question will come in examination, you just need to remember the meaning of break even point. Break even point formula is fixed cost divided by profit volume ratio, and as we know that break even point means no profit or no loss but to cover all cost. No profit and no loss but to cover all cost, right? And most importantly, break even point very useful for knowing the overall ability of a business to generate a profit, right? So this is it all about illustration number 2. बहुत easy था and बहुत interesting also. You just need to practice all the illustration so that you can easily solve in examinations, right? So thank you so much for your time, thank you so much for your support, and happy studying.